Hello, everyone, and welcome. I know it's been a hot minute since I've been putting up any videos. Uh, it's just been a little nuts around here energetically, so not sure what that's all about, but definitely saw like all kinds of like intense energy to like lows and that kind of stuff. I don't know if you've been feeling the same, but hopefully now I'm gonna be able to kind of get back on track a little bit and put out, the videos I want to put out on for the reads for the week and for holding space if we can still do that or the moons. So yeah, we're just kind of I feel like we're in this sort of like transitory period right now where we're just kind of like moving out of the old energy, starting to head towards the new, but again, still we're just not quite there yet, and there's still little bits of things for us to do. So I do have to fully admit, though, that I'm totally winging it here because I took a few notes. I'm going to read a little bit of them. But the big thing is like, yeah, I was totally prepared I was trying to make up for the videos I had missed. And on the 7/7 portal, I decided to go live. And I did the whole 40 minutes with no sound. And so I ended up pulling that video down. So anyway, I don't know. It's not that I feel like I'm being thwarted from doing this. It's just like it's almost like it's a timing thing. And so I think part of it too is I was working on a lot of stuff for myself energetically that I knew had to be cleansed, cleared, transmuted. Still working on that. And yeah, as we head into this week, same thing. We're heading into today, Monday, new moon in Cancer, uh, really highlighting major new beginnings. Lots of emotion, as always, with Cancer, kind of a heart chakra awakening starting to happen, and really kind of starting to emphasize like this shift that we're going through. So, the shift that we're seeing is kind of like so this moon is also opposite Pluto, which is death, life, rebirth, that kind of thing. And then what's also happening today, or it already just happened, I think at noon it moved in, was that we're changing the nodes sign. So they're moving into different signs, back into different signs. So we were in Taurus and Scorpio. Scorpio, death, purification, rebirth. So down and out, moving out the old and coming in with the new, moving into Aries and Libra. Um, Aries, the new beginnings, but really focusing on taking action, self mastery, and moving in the direction that you want to go. So back to that heart chakra awakening for the moon, the new beginnings is like starting to really come into touch with what our heart desires, truly desires, what direction you want to head, not anybody else. Although there's a little caveat with that because the South Node is going to move into Libra. Um, it was in Scorpio. Scorpio is definitely all of our shadow work. So we've been doing 18 months of shadow work clearing, moving into Libra, trying to balance that energy out. Um, but it's kind of putting a more of a focus on relationships. So kind of, making sure our self mastery and our new beginning, and we're taking action to where we want to go. But as we do that, coming into community again. Um, and again, releasing the old groups, friends, family, community that isn't aligned with us and isn't working. And in some cases, like, and I've seen this with other people, um, holding you back from holding you back from following your heart and your true heart's desire. So it's kind of like we're in that in between. We're just fully starting to transition out of all that old into this new. Um, but it's been 18 months of like the nodes switch every 18 months. So this new phase, as they move into it today, means we're starting, the new, and we've just come through 18 months of breaking up and dissolving the old, right? So this death, birth, or death, purification, rebirth. So that's been the period of the last 18 months. Definitely as it moves into these new nodal positions, it's not, better or worse. We still have work to do, but it is about the new beginning and the putting things into motion. Yeah, but overall, like just looking at the new moon combined with those nodes is, yeah, definitely lots of emphasis on um, emotion, the heart. One of the big things I saw that I really liked was creating balance, alignment, and peace within. So, a lot of the work, yes, we should be in community and getting help from community, but also really making sure we've got that self mastery part nailed down and that we're following our heart's desire. If we, as we have this full heart chakra opening, make sure you're moving towards what makes your heart sing, right? Um, and that's the part of self mastery that we have to work on um, is not following everyone else, but being aligned and steadfast and standing tall and strong in on our path, like where we want to go, not just blindly following um, because you don't want to do the work. It's just easier to follow somebody else, right? This comes down to our heart and us, and we need to be in alignment and in understanding of what it is we want. So yeah, the work never stops, but that's okay. Um, I feel like the nice part is that for this week, as we start to head into this new beginnings, um, we'll actually be able to kind of feel a difference. And like I said, not that the work is done and off we go. There's still lots of work to be done, but it feels like we're coming into that period again of where it might be a little more uh, easy to be at peace and be within, sit in our heart space and find that inner peace. Inner peace is kind of the big goal, I think, for this next couple of weeks. Just, it's a little bit of taking a rest and a break from the intensity. Um, that by no means that the energy is not going to stop. It's definitely, particularly the solar energy is just going off like crazy again. So, all right, let's take a look at the overall for the week, and then we'll get into the day by day. Of course, Monday is this new moon in Cancer, and the changing of the nodes, changing of the guard, as one of the ladies I was listening to put it. And I'm like, it is kind of like that. It's a whole new system coming in for us to utilize and work with. So that's kind of nice. And then we will do day by day. But yeah, definitely. Ooh, we got two cards there. Definitely going to do the moon reading that I usually do for Monday. It'll be coming up right after this. But let's take a look at the overall week and see what we got. First card is Temperance. So I always love these cards too because there is a moon in there. May the Lord make me an instrument of peace. So yeah, there you go. That's coming up big too. Heart's desire. What do you desire? Alignment, peace within. Finding inner peace. That seems to be coming through as a big message for this moon and this week in general. And we also got Judgment. I awaken to the timelessness of body, spirit, and soul. All illusions are shattered. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's like we're definitely going through that phase of, oh, you know what? I just realized. I thought in this deck it was all angels, but it's not. But we definitely got two angel cards here. Um, so lots of good, big, good energy coming in to help this week with, it feels like it's another big shift. And so just kind of relying on really taking those moments to check in with yourself, um, and find ways to be in the state of grace and ease and peace. So um, I know definitely that part of, like, for me over the last couple weeks, I've had up and down moments, very up and down moments. And I knew that, like, you know, part of the reason is that I haven't been doing as much work, like meditating um, and just spending the time to be at peace within. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay. So, and here's the big heart uh, opening center, the core of us, the heart of us. This is, I mean, it's beautiful. It's blooming and it is ready uh, to expand, right? That heart consciousness. Interesting here too, because the moon is kind of crescent. So I would say this being a new moon, that would put us within about a week or so, um, give or take, before the full moon. So the crescent we'll first see within, like, 4 to 5 days from today. So yeah, this week I'm really getting that thing, like that heart's desire and that and just being at peace in your heart. So the focus for the moon when we get to it definitely could be like making sure you're mapping out what your heart truly desires and where you really want to be headed. All right, so let's have one portal card because, well, this is apparently an energetic portal day too. I tried to investigate into it, but couldn't find a lot of information. Um, so let's do one portal card to see what this overall week is looking at, what we're focusing on. Okay, pulling this card for myself the last few weeks. Halls of Learning, Spirit Guides, Confirmation, and Great Lessons. Yeah, there's definitely lots of teachings coming in, um, particularly from our own spirit guides. So, what I'm just getting is definitely making sure, because I feel like in the last 2 weeks, the thing that I have been doing is I have been extremely distracted by the outside world and what's going on. And then for 2 days, I had like a pretty good cold. I was in bed, like sleeping. I was not feeling good, and I just knew it was inside my mind was saying, you've got to come back to a practice of meditation and listening to yourself and your heart and what's going on and where you want to be. So I feel like, yeah, when those happen to me, I know I'm purging things and transmuting lower energy. So it was all, I knew it had to happen. It's not the most comfortable, right? But now it's like, I'm getting the nudge again. Now it's time to start stepping back up and getting back on your game. And one of the things that really did come up before I start to read the week too um, is us just paying attention again to our chakras, um, and and making sure they're in balance and alignment, as we go through this next little energetic shift before we hit Lionsgate. So if I have a chance, I'm going to put a video together to go with the moon reading. So this is the week reading, but I'll separate the moon one out, and the meditation hopefully will be just a little quick one to help us align the chakras. Yeah, those are my big plans. We'll see what happens. But generally, I'm feeling so far for the week before we get into it is just a lot of, it's not even reflection, but it's just like taking the moments to sit and calm ourselves. If with the Cancer new moon, it could be a little emotional, but it's like get into those emotions, feel those emotions, cry if you need to, but really starting to like focus in on our heart and like what is it? What's the path? What is our path moving forward? What are you feeling? What do you need to nurture? Like that's the Cancer energy to get to that place. So, do you need to do more meditation? Do you just need to, spend 5 minutes a day listening to one good piece of music that opens your heart and makes you feel at ease in the state of grace and state of peace? So, that's what I would suggest for the week, kind of focusing. But let's get into each day. Of course, we're going to start with Monday coming up here, and it will be the reading for the new moon in Cancer. Let's take a look. Hello, and welcome to, if you're watching the read, this is the read for Monday. Monday being the new moon in Cancer. And so we're going to read the cards for this day like we would for the moon with my moon cards. Um, and we're just going to see. I'm kind of winging it a little bit. I did a little bit of research on this moon. Um, there's a lot going on right now with different energetic lineups. So it's kind of there's a lot of information out there. So if you are definitely looking at some serious moon work during this new moon in Cancer, I definitely would encourage you to like go dig a little deeper, although it's happening right now. So you probably just want to, have we'll give you the Coles notes here. So there's still a little bit of karmic clearing going on. As with, Cancer is represented by the moon, that so it's in its own sign. So really heightened emotions uh, might be happening for you, particularly around the heart's desire, um, really trying to figure out what your heart's desire is. And for some, even having a major heart chakra opening. Um, so lots, like I said, lots of energy coming in. Um, Really, what I'm getting is again, yeah, is spending the time to figure out, making sure that you're balanced, that you're in alignment, and working with heart chakra to find your inner peace and peace within and how do you get there. So maybe your intentions for this moon is to just write a plan of what you need, what is your heart's desire, where do you want to see yourself going, like those sorts of things. um, is the interesting thing too with this moon is that it's also opposite Pluto. Pluto is the planet of death, life, and rebirth. And that's also the nodes are switching today. So the North and South node are moving every 18 months, they move into new signs. Um, the sign we're just coming out of was Taurus and Scorpio. And Scorpio, again, is death, purification, rebirth. So there is this real um, sort of like transition happening where it's definitely the old world and the old way of doing things. And we can see that out there. Stuff's collapsing like crazy. Um, and so we're in this phase with this moon, I would say we won't be fully into these nodes. They've shifted into the signs of Aries and Libra, which we'll get into in a minute. But it's like this next couple days I feel like is just going to be um, we've been preparing for the new, like all the karmic clearing and things we've gone through in the last couple months. was just getting us to this spot. So it's kind of like we've arrived in a new place or city. We're traveling. Um, we're arriving in Aries and Libra. So there's all new things for us to learn and to do and to utilize the energy. Aries, of course, right, is it's new beginning. It's the first sign. It's where we start the journey of astrology. Um, so lots of new beginning, but it's action. It's always about moving in a direction. And this one in particular is really about making sure our self mastery um, is at its peak. And what else did I want to say? Yeah. So then Libra is the balancing of all that energy, but also it's kind of funny because it's like Aries is kind of asking us to make sure we're working on ourselves, but at the same time, Libra is making sure we're balanced in our community, in our groups, in our relationships. So again, it's just that like final kind of thing of like we're still hanging on to people, places, habits, all of that that aren't serving us. You know, it's sort of that final last warning of like, you, if you want to increase your energy and where we're headed, we need to know your heart's desire, and you need to quit hanging on to the stuff that's not that's kind of holding you back. Actually, is what it's doing, right? And because we did all this work, when the South Node was in Scorpio, that's all our shadow work that we've been doing. We've been doing 18 months of that. So it's nice to move into this new energy of being able to take action, but definitely make sure you're good to go before you embark on the adventure, right? So the adventure too is like I said, it's what is your heart desire? That's what this moon is. This moon is really about what does your heart desire? And uh, I would say, like honestly, like my plan for the moon tonight is to write it down. Like what do I really want to see? And the interesting part about it being in Cancer and with emotion is again we've talked about this before many times. Um, it's writing down how you want to feel. It's not about like I want to a 10-acre property. Like I do want a 10-acre property or just away from the city. These are things I definitely, are in my heart's desire. But it's, I think, really asking us a lot about what do you desire to feel with your heart's desire. What would make you happiest? What feeling, right? Pure love, um, peace, inner peace, contentment. So it's kind of wishing more along the spiritual and the emotional lines for this moon. That's just my personal opinion, but that's what I'm going to be doing tonight. So I'm going to be focusing less on, there'll be some elements I want to put in, like, part of my life right now that I feel like would make it easier for me to connect and do my heart's desire is having to work less but make more so I have time to do things, right? Like it's such a dichotomy, but I'm going to write it out tonight. That's my big plan. The other thing I wanted to do is we're going to read the moon as we always would, but I'm going to draw one card instead of like from the other decks I use for the overall message, but I'm going to use the Divine Feminine Oracle here because that's also a big part of this moon, right? When the moon is in her home sign of Cancer. So it's doubling it up, but that's very much the divine feminine shining through. So let's see what the overall message for that is. That one's okay. We got, I don't know, Catherine Labore. I think I said that right. The patroness of miraculous healing. I am ready to heal. I am worthy of the miracles meant for me. Yeah, and it's just like I can feel it right here. It's just like this is pure emotional healing. I know for sure, I can speak for myself, like this last couple of weeks it was all like, like emotionally based things coming up to transmute, transform, and deal with, right? Um, so yeah, so if that's been happening to you, I also know it's been happening to lots of people in my work and friends and community. So it's yeah, let's spend this moon focusing on our heart, um, filling it with love, and yeah, and just trying to make sure we're aligned and balanced, and um, and operating from a place of peace and love. So the meditation that will follow, if you're watching this as just the moon read, it's actually going to focus on the chakras, because I've also been getting this week that we need to tune into those chakras and make sure they're in alignment as well, because it is going to matter as we go through this week in particular. So I feel like, yeah, this week's a bit of a trying to realign to peace, to love, but also and healing any of that shadowy crap that came up during the last couple of weeks for you. Um, yeah, because it's also, someone told me too, it's like this is almost the midway point too between the next eclipse, between the two eclipses. So that we're kind of feeling a little bit of that energy kind of coming back in, where it's like rocking the boat a bit. So, but only to the point that it's just making sure that we're staying on top of things. We're not asleep at the wheel, and just letting whatever happens happen. We still need to be cognizant of our energy, and and be, you know, being, so that we're able to, so that we manifest things as well that we actually want, right? We want to be manifesting stuff we don't want. All right. Um, so with this moon, like I said, I did a little bit of research. Obviously, I've talked for 11 minutes and haven't drawn one card, but I wanted to really see if we could rely on the cards for this reading, and get them to tell us what this overall new moon in Cancer really represents for us. Ooh, that one flipped over fast. Okay. Oh, that's so funny. I love that. Yeah, it's kind of like I suspected. Let's see. Okay, what's the overall themes of this moon? Okay, the first, I'm going to read them backwards only because, because it makes more sense. Um, so we got two at the end. We got your commitment is being tested. So now I'm not seeing this in like, like it's testing. It's kind of like I'm just hearing it's like, um it's more like a nudge. Keep doing the work. Don't stop. Like we have to be committed to this. We can't, like I said, we can't just fall asleep at the wheel and come what may. Like we still got to be doing this work, right? And I'll read this one last, because so we also got the full moon in Cancer, which is the opposite of this moon, but a personal issue reaches resolution. So I think again, this is also pertaining to that nodal shift, is that um, we've been really going through that shadow work as we, you know, as we transmute and transform the old and into the new, and we're just really at the precipice of heading into the new. So go easy on yourself too, right? I think I beat myself up all the time. I'm like, I should be there. We should have this done. Like, why is this taking so long? That's a whole other subject. Um, but it's just like, go easy on yourself. Like this transition is happening. It is not a speedy process. We also got, which is funny, it's time to release negativity. So definitely clearing out the last of that karmic shadow garbage that we don't need. Um, I'll point out that it's in Scorpio too. while the moon isn't in Scorpio, the nodes are shifting from, or the north or south node, sorry, is shifting from Scorpio into Libra, which was our shadow work period. So anything that isn't serving that came up with that, definitely a time to let it go. And then we got last but not least, and the best, is exactly where we're headed. A new start is coming. This is, and again, this pretty much looks like a fully new moon, right? Void of light. The new moon, yeah, a new start is coming. Yay, that's what this moon means. It's pretty good when they line up like that, but it's just like, make sure you know that, you know, things are being resolved. You're still being asked to do the work, and release that negativity. So I know sometimes that's a lot, right? Okay, let's see. I always read these guys as just kind of like, again, confirmation of what's going on for this moon, what we need to look at, the hidden realms. Yeah, I like to look in the dark corners during the moons. But it's funny because they're not really dark. These cards aren't necessarily dark. Ooh, okay, these all came out together. So we're going to read them. Let's see. Okay. So the first card is the Hungry Ghosts, which is obsession, scarcity consciousness, and attachment. It's no different than what we just said. It's like there's still some negative stuff that all of us are hanging on to. Scarcity consciousness that doesn't necessarily have to be a monetary thing. It can be love, it can be peace, all of these things. So there's definitely be doing the work around this moon, to see, again, it's those fine details. What are still the things that are tripping us up? And it's funny because it's drawing me right back to that divine feminine card, and it's something about healing, right? It's something about healing our emotions and there's just one thing or two things, that we're still attached to that we just can't let go of. But like, honestly, if we want to be part of this, if we want it to shift and we want it to change, you have to be part of the change. You can't just like, yeah, sit back and not be the change. You have to be part of it. So, um, I would encourage you, because I'm just speaking to myself here. It's like, we got to start letting this stuff actually go, like actually letting it go. Because that's really funny, because I'm going to read these slightly out of that. We also got the River Queen, which is flow. It's flow, letting go, and natural movement. Um, because yeah, it's just like this, the Aries node thing too is like, it's taking action. We don't have to run full tilt into battle here, right? It's just like, now is the time where we start to take the steps. And as we start this journey, we realize, hey, you know what? This pack or this jacket I'm wearing, I, I don't need it anymore. It's too heavy. It's time to just like leave it here on the path and continue on. We'll just use that analogy. We also got the spiral dancer. I can never say this word, circuitous movement and perception. I always read this card though as like, this is life. We're going to keep ascending up. It's just a spiral. And there's going to be moments where it's fast, and there's going to be moments where it's slow, and it's just meant to happen. So I always feel like this is the universe unfolding, and just, again, go with the flow and naturally move through it. Don't try to like run too fast or like move too slow or not move at all, right? Just start to take the steps. We're starting to take the steps. Because the overall card we got is the cosmos, right? Creativity and vastness. This card is always just like, it's just like, this is the universe. This is happening. We all get to participate in this. And so, we have to really work hard, I think, in the next few weeks not to be our own worst enemy, because the biggest thing holding us back is just us, right? So yeah, again, it's another week of keep doing the work, but it's almost like a little bit of like refining the work, really looking for peace and love, and where we want to head, and just making sure you've really let go of a bunch of stuff. All right, let's take a look. I always use these cards for the moon, um, as sort of advice cards. So 3 advice cards on, you know, what we should do for the moon. Yeah. Yeah, it's all it's just purely 100% uh, do the work. But here we go. Okay. Reflect on your priorities. So that is going right back to the point of this moon. But priorities in this case is heart's desire. What is your heart's desire? What is your heart's desire? I think that's just like put that as the question at the top of the page and just free form write and from the heart. Reflect on your priorities. We'll read that last. Assess the situation. Again, it's sort of like we're taking stock of like, where are we right now? Where do we want to be? I can't say it any different than that because that's what this, we're asking specifically, like, what is this moon for and what are we supposed to be doing? And then the last one is make time for self love, heart opening, heart awakening. Yeah, we need to be sitting with ourselves and our heart and listening and asking it what it wants and listening and taking that answer down and then making a plan to how we get there, right? It's one thing just to sit here and do heart chakra work and open it and infuse it with love. Those are all good practices. Um, but we still, what we're being asked to do right now with this moon and ourself is really be clear about what we want to feel, and what we want to, yeah, it's the feel, what emotion, um, and how do you get to inner peace? What creates inner peace for you? What emotions, what feelings, what situations? Yeah. So that's what I'm getting for this moon. So, do I need to do any other cards? No, we need to move on with the week. Um, but if you're watching this in the week read, this was Monday. And if you are watching this as part of the actual read for the moon, there will be a meditation coming up for Tuesday. All right, we'll see you on the next read. All right, now we're going to take a look at Tuesday. Um, this week I'm using all of my energy oracle cards. Um, I don't know. It keeps coming back this week to the chakras and making sure they're in alignment. So, yeah, let's read the cards and see what that means, what we're looking at, and we'll go from there. Whoop. Take that. Okay. Interesting. So interesting. Okay, Tuesday. First card is feeling the world. So, yeah, we just came out of a Cancer new moon. So, lots of emotion. Um, so, if we're having that happen to us, the collective is going through a lot of emotional work right now. So, if you're definitely empathic, which most of us tend to be lately, as we start, especially as we start to open our gifts and our abilities, um, we're going to be feeling this, you know, the, I don't want to call it the weight of the world, but I want to call it like, we're going to be feeling, we're just going to be feeling them. But it's interesting because the next card we got was the card of service. Um, so this card for me is always like we're being in service, right? We're holding a balance. So we might feel all of that. Our job is to be in service, and that's energetically. So it's helping everybody. Um, so there's kind of two things we have to do with this, is because we have to. It's almost like we have to remain neutral, so that we're not taking that emotion on and feeling it ourselves to the point that we can't be in service because like we just want to hide under the covers or cry our eyes out, and like that's not energetically doing what we're supposed to. So it's like it's the reason I called Holding Space Sunday is we need to be in a position of being right with ourselves and holding the space for everybody else. So on Tuesday, if you start to feel like a lot of that emotion and stuff coming in, this is part of this whole like what do we do with this new moon and the changing of the nodes is we need to be in service more. Energetically, what that means is we're not going to be able to go out and hug the world. You might be able to. You might find someone directly that needs your really immediate attention on a physical and emotional level. Um, but this is more about sitting in prayer and in meditation and holding the space for everybody and just allowing everyone to collectively feel their emotion without any attachment to an outcome, something changing, something happening. It's just about holding that space. And the reason I forgot to read the last card is because we also got the nothingness or the no thingness. So this is purely like this kind of non-duality playing in it a bit where it's like uh, we're not attaching emotion to helping people. We're not attaching their emotion to us or feeling it so much that we're not doing the work. It's just about holding the space and allowing. It's allowing. Um, just allowing. So just sitting in this, the no thingness is like, for me, that's a great place. If you can get there in a meditation where it's just like neutral, there's no emotion on either side, happy or whatever. We're just literally holding space, which is, you know, space is deep, dark, nothing. Really, that's what it is. Yeah, so Tuesday, I say like honestly, yeah, you're gonna feel like we're gonna get some emotional like twinges and things like that. Take a breath, take a moment, take 5 minutes. That's all it is. Um, Sit within the heart space and just hold, and just even you can even just say that I hold the space for everyone. I feel like people are really like there's so much going on that you know that people are like it's almost like we're emotionally, I don't want to say void because that's not the word, it's just like there's so much going on, we don't know which end is up, and the world just needs to take a breath and just feel safe and secure for a moment. And so let's hold that space for them at some point during that day. And realize too that while you're doing this, you're also doing it for yourself, right? You were part of this collective. So yeah, be in service on Tuesday and hold some space for those emotions to be felt and transmuted. Really, like, you know, it's heavy stuff we're dealing with out there right now. So, yeah, take 5 minutes and hold the space. That's Tuesday. Okay, looking at Wednesday. Whew. It's so funny. I haven't done these readings in like a couple weeks just 'cause the way life went. I feel like I'm out of practice, so hopefully I'm making sense and hopefully the messages are coming through loud and clear. I feel like they are. Okay. Ah, dang. This week is, sorry, it's not dang. It's just like this week's, it's just emotion. It's an emotional week. We got, we got little bits of work to do, which is fine, but you know, it's okay. Ooh, yeah. Okay. The first card we got for Wednesday, which is funny because it's the midway of the week, if you want to call it that, but we got the Land Between. So this is always my card for like, it's an energetic thing too, right? We're between this third dimensional uh, lower energies, trying to, increase the frequency up to 5D so that we're living in a more, the state of love and peace and ease and grace. We're still, we're still trying to bridge this gap. Most of us are sitting here and like we see everyone on the one side or the other, and we're like, okay, we're still trying to hold this balance. I'm gonna read this card first because what's coming up is that it's around okay. Oh, how do you say this too without being too like okay, let's just put the card up. It's about control. It's about the control we've been under. It's about, uh, the powers that were still trying to remain in control. But what I'm getting is that there's more information starting to come out about how that is all smoke and mirrors, um, which is really tough because the next card we got is forgiveness. Um, so it's just reading to me like, um, yeah, we're in this in between stage where it's like there's so much going on at this 3D level, if we want to call it that. Let's call it that, right? Where it's like all this stuff is being presented to us, and it's like, oh my God, why are we living this way? We're kind of in this in between, and we're like, how do we fully get past all of this stuff that's been happening? Um, and also coming out from the control, and it's forgiveness, the path of forgiveness. So I mean, for some of us, that's going to be an easy task, and for some people, that is going to be extremely difficult because there's a lot of anger about all of this that's gone on. Lots of anger. In fact, that's probably like what Tuesday was about a little bit is that, the collective feeling is, and that's the thing is like the collective feeling may not be sadness, it might be full blown anger, and rightfully so. It's just that if you're watching this, we have to find the middle ground. We have to be the middle ground. And we have to show people that's possible. And we have to show people that no matter how awful and dark this was, we can still be angry at it. I'm not saying don't do that. But at the end, for us to fully move on to that other side, we we have to do this forgiveness work. Um, and I know that's really hard. And a lot of it too is like what I feel like is coming up really strongly right now, like it's almost making me cry, is it's going to be people having a really hard time forgiving themselves for falling into this control and trap. That's going to hurt more than what they did. It hurts more that when you first wake up and you're like, how did I how did we get here? How did we allow this to happen? It's not easy. It's hard on the heart. And I'm really feeling like a lot of people are going to be waking up this week. That's what that means. They are going to be like unable to forgive themselves. Sorry, it's making me cry. Um, we have to hold the space for that's what this whole week is really going to be about. We have to stay here in this neutral place and show people that it's possible to move from that side over to this side. So that sounds like taking sides. It's not what it is, but it's like to move through that frequency into the new energy. Yeah. Whew. Sorry, man. This is like overtaking me emotionally. It's this Cancer new moon. It's kicking my butt. Anyway, our job is going to be we're still here. We're in service. We're here to help. People are going to have a really hard time forgiving themselves. Um, you know, show them so much kindness and love. Show them so much kindness and love. Help them to forgive themselves. I've done a lot of that work over the last couple of years. Um, so yeah, we're just gonna leave it at that because we'll see what happens Wednesday. But you know, the one thing I do want to say is please never tell anybody I told you so, because that is not a good way to start that conversation. Um, just reach out your hand, be this, shelter the children, hold the children, hold their inner child, give them a hug, be there for people this week. That's, I think, what else is coming up. So that's Wednesday. All right, Thursday. Let's see what's going on. Whew, okay. Ah, I only say that just because this is my card for, again, more stuff getting revealed in the world. Let's see what else we get here. Ooh, okay. Yeah, well, we'll just read them because they're there. Thursday, a tall tale. I always, this is clearly, Pinocchio sitting there on top of the hat, right? Just more stuff seems, the lies and stuff are starting to be exposed and be seen. Um, so Thursday looks like we're just continuing a little bit more of that energy. Yeah, I was like, let's draw another because I'm not sure how these other two fit in, but um, ears wide open. So ears wide open is a good one though too because it's like it's kind of like the discernment card, and it is a throat chakra card in this deck, as well as I always say your discernment comes through two places, uh, third eye and our throat. So our ability to um, really listen and figure the truth out for ourselves seems to be the key for Thursday. We also got bittersweet. Uh, it's always interesting, this card, because I read it again. It's a throat chakra card, so there's lots of stuff coming up around truth. Um, I always read this card when I get it in a reading as it doesn't matter how much you try to please some people, they're always just going to be whatever. So, what I'm kind of getting from this is yesterday we needed to hold some space for some people. Um, don't be surprised though if those people suddenly are like, I think with as some of these truths come out, some people are going to there's going to be what we call a lot of cognitive dissonance. So it's like, no, that can't be true. No, not listening to that. Um, don't keep trying to please them. If they're not going to listen and they're not going to wake up, that's their journey. It's not ours. It's almost like you will always be disappointed. The other thing that this person can't escape is that spirit is all around. And so it doesn't need to be you that necessarily helps them. Um, so if it is coming down to that where they're just like not, not wanting it, make sure you're not trying to help people that don't want the help, right? If they are just going to stay where they are at the level they're at, that's where they're going to stay. Don't try to change people's minds or be in their face and like, why aren't you getting this and why aren't you waking up? It's like they'll have their moment, and this is what this card means. It's the sorrow card, but I know the story behind this card because from the deck, the Osho deck. So this is, I always say his name wrong, Atmanam Buddha. So it's Buddha's brother, or fellow monk. In the story, I think they're somehow related. Um, and he's in his dark night of the soul, crying, because he watched Buddha enlighten, and he's like, I did all the same things. I took all the same steps. I was devout. I followed just as he did. He ascended, he enlightened, and I'm still stuck down here. But in his sorrow, what he's not seeing is the light is starting to come in. So, and then the next day he woke up and he was enlightened the next day, or whatever, within a few days. So it's just like, yeah, if everyone's going to go at their own pace, we cannot force or cajole or control or help anyone else. So you can lay the seeds. If they plant them, they grow. If they don't, that's not our job. Our job is still always us. So again, as more stuff starts to come out, there's going to be people that ask for your help, and there's going to be people that don't. And we just and they might be someone near and dear to us, friends, family, but that's it isn't our job to take them. They might very well have to go through the darker night of the soul, but eventually the enlightenment is coming, right, for them. So don't put too much of your effort into that on Thursday. Um, just realize no matter what we say or do, it's never going to be enough to please them, or they have to do it themselves. So uh, it's kind of like the contrast to Wednesday, but just realize it's like you may help a bunch of people wake up and be there to hold their hand, and then Thursday you're feeling like so great about it and empowered that you go out and start spewing information to people, and they just are going to take it the wrong way. We're still in that phase, so just I hate to say it, but walk away. Like if it's falling on deaf ears, you know, the key with ears wide open is the words wide open. We're open to the the whatever's coming at us. Um, those people are not open. So just for now, just leave it, but know that they'll have their awakening. It comes in different forms for everybody. So just I think it's just warning us individually not to push the issue, um, and not to push any agenda on anyone. So that's Thursday. All right, let's do Friday here. Whew. It's been raining most of the day, and now it's starting to I feel like it's warming up again. So it's getting a little muggy in here. Funny. Dropping cards. Okay. Yeah. All right. Whoops. Dropping cards. Yeah. Just cards are falling out. But they're not turning face up, which is really funny. So, okay. So, actually, Friday's kind of funny. It's just straight out a reminder about this journey and pulling it back to, Wednesday, Thursday, we were kind of, even Monday. Was it Monday? No, Tuesday. We were involved more with the world and helping the world. But by Friday, it's just a reminder that it's about it's all about us, and not in the way that it's like a conceited ego thing. This process that we're all going through is the awakening genius. This is a third eye card. Well, it's a throat card, but there's a nice big eye up at the crown, right? Crown and third eye. So awakening to our true energies and abilities. Got some great rainbows through the headdress, and just the fact that it's an elder, right? We're stepping back into our true nature. Actually, these cards are all interesting because they're all blue as well. So like they are the air and the or the air and the intuition cards. We also got expansion. So This is the one, all the sort of representations of, I don't want to say of religion, but of energy, right? We have Mother Earth, we have the weather beings, we just have like in the purple cloak, so like that more esoteric sort of energy, and then the God like figure. Um, so just knowing that we're in the process, and it's funny that Mother Earth's kind of holding the light there and working with the higher realm energy. So just reminding us that we are in this process of awakening, of expanding, of going through our own process of enlightenment, ascension, whatever you want to call it. And so just, it's sort of just, I think after the week we've had, it's just reaffirming. It's like this comes down to still you and what you're doing with your gifts, abilities, that sort of thing. Because the very last card we got is Harmony, which is a great place to be. But again, very third eye card. Dolphins, intuition. So intuition is really, again, kicking up for us uh, to see and understand that it's us, and we have this energy, and we are magical, and we have the ability to do amazing things. So yeah, just kicking in more to our intuition, just knowing it's expanding and changing and awakening. Um, and again, I'm just getting, it's a reminder that at the end of the week, we've done like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of like, and Thursday even of like work around other people and um, connecting with emotionally and helping and being in service when we can. But by Friday, remembering that it comes back down to us and our energy and making sure we're expanding and doing that work. That's Friday. Okay, let's look at Saturday. Woo, okay. Just, I love when they flip over because they're just like, you have no choice. That's the card you're reading. Oh, it's doing it here too. Interesting. Okay, Saturday. Yeah, okay. So it's also part of like, I feel like we're also, I'll start to read the cards and you'll see what I mean is that it's, as we're going through this entire ascension process, we're just going to call it that, is that it's like, and I know this in talking to people, it's like, we're doing stuff, things are happening, we see it, and then it's like, and then we stall out, or take, and then it's like, nothing's happening, nothing's happening, nothing's happening. And then we get frustrated and we get scared, and then we're like, okay, this isn't real. And then again, then we take, and then we propel forward again, and it's all just part of the process. So I'm going to read these the opposite way of the cards I pulled, just because it makes more sense. So the first card is patience, right? It's all about timing. It goes through cycles. Things we're doing, we're working on ourselves, then we're helping others, and we're working on ourselves. This is all a process, and we really just need to take and have patience. Again, in this picture, it's the goddess, right? She's pregnant, and she's pretty pregnant, so she's close to birthing whatever the new is coming. But we have, we can't speed this up, and it's not, we can't slow it down either. It's going through a process, it's going through a cycle. It's just like, we just have to be patient before we see the big picture come to fruition. We also got the isolation card. So I don't ever generally read this card as isolation. Um, I usually say it's more like it means go take some time and reflect. The moon on Monday, taking time to reflect. In this picture, there is like, this is the graduation cap, and then like a tux, like if you were going to your graduation or something. So it's almost just saying like, you've done all the steps, you're at the pinnacle or the you're about to graduate, um, just spend some time reflecting on your journey. Um, and then the last card is the spirit of gratitude. So again, a favorite about this card too is, the fully bloomed lotus flower, which always represents full enlightenment. Or so just knowing, and again, it's you can't, it's hard to tell, but it's this is someone's head, and they're, the top piece is not there. It's the lotus flower, which again is pure symbolism for enlightenment. But there's also a reflected lotus in the third eye. So just knowing we're just coming into our abilities and our things. And so there are going to be periods of time where you're just like nothing's happening, and I'm a fool for believing this because I don't actually have these abilities. Um, and we're just being reminded the spirit of gratitude piece of this is, yeah, you know, they are coming. There is more to come. You don't just graduate and then go sit at home. You go head out and do your job. But we need to be patient. Um, and in those moments of doubt, turn back to gratitude and be thankful for how far you've come, where you are in this journey, um, and what you do have. So really, I don't think, I feel like there's nothing else to say about that. It's just, yeah, this whole journey has always been a lesson in patience, which has been, I would say, like, if you asked me at the end of all this what my hardest lesson was, it was learning to have patience, because I really do not. And that's usually where I trip myself up and end up, you know, having going back to dark nights of the soul, or just not, it's like nothing's happening and this is just stalling out, and it's hard to remember to put yourself back into that place of remembering that we are about to birth something amazing, but it takes time. You can't rush it. So, just reminding us by Saturday, take a breath, don't worry about stuff. It's all coming in its divine timing. There's That's just the way it is. Okay, that's Saturday. All right. So obviously we're going to sum up right now. I'm not going to read Sunday because I'm going to I'm going to do Holding Space Sunday. I'm going to make myself put it together this time. Anyway, it'll happen. All right, let's look at a sum up of the week to see what the end of the week looks like. Any lessons or information that we need. Yeah, funny that this card came up. So we got the repetition card. Again, here's the moon cycles. It's the patience card, which I still have here, all over again. It's just like everything happens as it's supposed to, when it's supposed to. It is about divine timing. Um, Repetition for me is always reflecting more back to, um, in this, like, this would be like the wild horses are migrating. There's a time and a space for everything. But the repetition part for us is doing our work, is meditating, is taking 5 minutes to connect, to realign our energy, to get some chakra work done, whether you have that done professionally or you're just doing meditations on your own on each chakra, those sorts of things. So just making sure, like, that was part of the message of the moon, I believe, is like, yes, working in the heart and having a heart chakra opening, but, balancing things out and making sure you're in alignment, and just finding inner peace every moment, developing ways that you can find inner peace. So if you don't get it from a 5-minute meditation, um, is it 5 minutes outside in nature? Like, what is it for you? Okay, cool. And then we got the magician to sum up the week, which is always my favorite because it's like, it's just completely pointing out to you that you do have these abilities. You are part of what is happening. You are magic. Um, And, we just have to learn to work our magic, right? So that which I create in the world returns to me. That's that spirit of gratitude too, right? So yeah, I feel like if you've been doing what I do is like when I get stressed out or like upset about nothing happening, I do spiral a bit and I start to like I really get down in the dumps and I'm really heavy with doubt. So I know and I can catch myself because so I'm sitting there thinking those thoughts. I'm like, you're just manifesting more of it. Why are you doing this? So cancel, clear, delete. I can't say it enough. Say that if you catch yourself. So switch it up so you're putting more magical words out there. And remember that you're creating every time we speak or think. So it's just making sure we're keeping that in check and we're not like spiraling the wrong way down instead of up. We want to spiral up, everybody. All right, let's see the last portal card. I will also pull one more Divine Feminine card, and then we'll call that the read for the week, and then we will do an Holding Space Sunday. Making myself commit right now. The Thoth Light Codes. Light initiation, a great teacher awakens, divine magic. This is you guys and us. It's just remembering how magic we are. Um, and the great teachers is a big part. It's like, I think we can, like I said, there's those days, there's people that are going to like need our help and people and ask for it. And we can willingly give that to them. And then there's people that are just going to be like completely resistant and la 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 la. I don't want to hear what you're saying. Um, and so the best way to be a great teacher, and it's talking to you guys and me, we're all awakening as great teachers. The best way that we teach is by leading by example. So we be the lighthouse, right? And we do that energy work and we shine our light out so other people can see it. And those who need to come to us will, and those who don't will not. So just know you are this teacher. There, you are awakening. You're the awakening genius from, was that Friday or Saturday? It's all happening. It's just it is a waiting game, and not a waiting game. It's a patience game. Patience game is a totally different thing. All right, let's finish up with this Divine Feminine. See what they have to say. Okay. Yeah, it's okay. We got Our Lady Bridget, Saint Bridget, Our Lady of Exalted Light. I give endlessly because the light is without end. My soul is all I need. This is a reminder, right, to keep our soul light, the lighthouse, shining. Um, and we can give that light out, but by taking care of ourselves first and by us shining our light. If other people are drawn to it, then they are. Um, so be the lighthouse. Um, the lighthouse doesn't go out to sea and pick up and save people against their will. It it allows them to be washed into them, or it doesn't help at all. Um, it stays in its place, shining its light. So go out there, use your magic, and shine your light this week, and we will see you on Sunday for Holding Space Sunday.